Hello, it is very cool to talk to you today.
Oh, lovely to speak to you.
I think it's amazing how you play Charlie with so much compassion for Amy, and yet you really get this sense, especially partway through, maybe around the middle, that there's something really broken about him. I'm curious for you, how did you think of his sense of right and wrong and even of love to capture that so well?
Well, thanks for being generous. Honestly, for me, the key into this character was this book that the film is based on. It's called The Good Nurse, and our story is the last third of the book, and the other two thirds are very detailed and intricate biography of Charlie's upbringing and these extraordinarily traumatic things that happened to him in his youth. Age 7, he tried to kill someone who'd abused him. He then tried to kill himself when that failed with lighter fluid. He was age 15. He was the first person to the hospital when his mum died in a car crash who he was very close to, and they'd lost her body and disrespected it. And he then also joined the Navy and worked in submarines and was only fired when he was found standing with a finger over the Poseidon missile button. Like, the fact that this guy was ever allowed near vulnerable people was totally astonishing to me. But the book really was the way in, because it gave me all the psychiatric reports and all the hearsay and discussion about him. It was a sort of actor's dream having that.
Maybe this is naive as a viewer, but as an actor doing scenes like this that are so intense, like you can almost hear a pin fall, as they say. Was there something you had to do on set when you're performing opposite Jessica Chastain? Did you have to do anything between takes to keep the mood, or is it just part of the job?
I mean, I'd probably say it's just part of the job, but when you're playing opposite someone as formidable as Jessica Chastain, it's joyful, honestly. Even the intense stuff, the intense stuff is what we, the pushing yourself is what actors love. It's one of the reasons we get into it, pushing yourself to extremes that you're not even sure where you're at and what you're doing, to a place of vulnerability and of madness sometimes. But what was interesting about the making of this film was that Jodie Lee Lipes, our cinematographer, lit it almost pitch black. I mean, it's quite dark when you see the movie, but in real life, it was even darker. He would open these apertures so that the film had a grainy texture to it, but it meant that when you were actually shooting the scene, it was almost pitch black. And for me, that was wonderful, because weirdly, darkness keeps the set quiet. It also heightens something, and it also means that as an actor, you don't feel the presence of the crew who are 3 meters away, but you can just about see into Jess's eyes and play that intimacy. So that was an unexpected benefit of the lighting choices in the movie.
Well, the last thing I want to know is, I think you met the real Amy. I'm curious if you met her before or after, and if she had anything to say about your performance.
I did meet the real Amy before, or via Zoom, actually, as we are speaking.
Oh, really?
Because it was at the end of COVID, and we spoke at length, and is amazing. She spoke about how Charlie was two different people. She described it as a dissociative thing. On the one hand, he was this kind, generous, empathetic, self-deprecating, funny guy who saved her life. And then she met this other human being twice, and something glazed over his eyes. One eye drifted off, and he was an empty vessel with an arrogance and truculence she said it was two different people. And really, that was the key into it for me, because it meant that Jess and I could truly invest in the friendship, and that Tobias could find moments that were awry, but then it was only when this other character revealed that I could really lean into that.
Well, that's what's so devastating about it. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, mate. Lovely chatting to you.